Alan. This is Peter from MNN. I think my camera is a little bit fuzzy. There we go, that's better. Hey guys, it is me. It is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, what's going on, Ellen? I am on my 4th week of being trapped, more or less, inside of my house. Not quite trapped, but not quite free. Yeah, so quick update on my foot. It's better. My nerves still get all kind of weird. I do still use that little interesting platform shoe so I can walk. I don't walk around too much, but just every here and there. Been to the local market a couple times. What's going on, Mr. S.J. Nix? Morning. Yes, and I am still growing out my beard. So, hey, Haro Matsu, what is up? How are you? Okay. So it was a very, very busy weekend. A lot of stuff went down. But I do want to go into Band-Maid performing at Summer Sonic first. It definitely was a success because after their performance and that day and the days since then, there's definitely been an uptick of new fans, new mentions, comments on Twitter X. Seems like a lot of people got quite interested in what Band-Maid had to offer. I did not go to see the performance live as I could not, but I did end up watching the streaming. Yeah, so it was like what, roughly 45 minutes or so. But yeah, let's get into that very quickly. For those of you who have an early morning and you are off to work, for those of you who are nice and retired, you have nothing to worry about. So good for you. Good for you. Okay, let's see here. So Band-Maid did perform this past Saturday for Summer Sonic 2025. Yes, Alan. I know you have time. But I'm glad you're making good use of it by joining us. Okay, so Band-Maid did perform. Hey, what's going on, Mike? They did perform this past Saturday. Let's see. Oh no, this is their Summer Sonic for Wawa, their live stream. So the live stream went on at 7:20 p.m., which was about an hour and a half roughly. They went on at 5:45 p.m. on stage at the Pacific stage. There were 11 songs. And let me get quickly to the set list. This is thanks to Hawk Metal. Again, he and a few others always post the set list after a show is done, if they are there. Generally, they are. So shout out to them for always being so dedicated to that. So for the rehearsal, Akane did a solo. Misa, Miku, and Konami were strumming. So just, basically warming up. But for rehearsal, they did Unleash and Dice. Dice is nice to hear. I mean, it feels kind of long ago now, doesn't it? But yeah, there's definitely a lot of nostalgia with that song, that video in particular. But Unleash and Dice, and then the actual set list for the show was From Now On, Zen, Domination, Ready to Rock, Hate with a Misa Konami battle, which always makes Hate that much better. What is Justice? No God. Tamaya with another Misa Konami battle. A little solo from Akane. And then you had Choose Me with this intro. Is it really an intro? It's like a... what do you call it? Like a prelogue. It's not quite like I don't know if intro is quite the right word, you know? Um, why can't I quite explain it musically? Uh, like rhythmically, it's a little bit slower. That I do not remember. I cannot remember the set list for Lollapalooza, except that they played Hate, and that people complained about the the camera work because it was missing Konami a lot of the times. Um, Sorry, but anyways, Choose Me with an intro. It was cool. It had more of a sort of a rock feel to it, a little bit more blues. I enjoyed that. But again, I wouldn't quite call it an intro. It's not quite the word. Protect You, and then they finished off with Screaming, not Streaming, with Screaming. So those were the songs. I did watch the stream. Um, the minute the camera goes live and you see only four girls on stage, you know it's an instrumental. Uh, and based off the set list, I knew it was gonna be from now on. I will say, just speaking honestly, they seemed a little bit stiff. From For Now On, I've seen better performances. Zen, but then once they got into Domination and then into Ready to Rock, they really turned it up. And I will say, um, I think my favorite part about Ready to Rock is when you actually see Akane just going at it. Like one of my favorite clips ever of Band-Maid performing is when they were at London Comic Con, um, and they were performing alone. That, in addition to Real Existence, when you see Akane in the back, just bashing out the drums and she just is basically Animal from the Muppets, right? Like she's wild, and I miss that. I miss that image of her, that performance, because over the years, maybe it's probably due to her back and her injury, but she plays a little bit more straight up, with her back a bit more erect. And when she plays, it's not quite as loose and as wild as it was in earlier performances when you watch clips. I unfortunately was not able to see those earlier performances, but based on just footage of back in the day, like she would get wild. And what I really loved is that with when Ready to Rock started and you see her on the drums, like it's the way her hair gets so disheveled. She goes into that Keith Moon mode, which I absolutely love. So, but yeah, it was a great set, definitely high energy all the way through. Um, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I think for a lot of people, they didn't realize what the time was and that the streaming was set at a specific time. Um, I have heard through the grapevine that it is available in certain places. You have to look around. Um, yeah, so I do believe that there are mentions of it on Reddit, and you guys can go ahead and check that. Yeah, so I will say that, and we talked about this last week too, but between Zen, Ready to Rock, and What is Justice, I definitely prefer Zen the most with, yeah, just the ooh-oohs there, and then, Misa's like downward chromatic bass line. Um, but yeah, good energy overall, towards the end especially. I will say definitely not at all like Start Over was like back in the day. I haven't thought about it for a long time. Um, but Protect You, I do think it's a good song, but the la-las still don't work for me. As I was watching it, and I was, because you figure after some time, you kind of sometimes change your mind about a song. But I think for Protect You, yeah, it just still didn't work for me. Those la-las, there's certain melodies and certain like syllables and sounds that just don't quite work for me, and that one just doesn't. But it is a good song. Don't get me wrong. But it did finish up with Screaming, which I really do enjoy. Screaming is a song that I've always gone wild over, like live when I've been at their shows. So it was good to hear that. It is another nostalgic song. Um, And it is kind of funny how Start Over and Screaming were, basically on the same disc right after Domination. And so that was a really interesting, like, juxtaposition. So that was Band-Maid at Summer Sonic. There was also a sort of promotional video that was put up after the performance. And during the Q&A, Miku did mention that they were going to go and watch Fall Out Boy after their stage. So I don't know if they actually did. I didn't see any mention of that. It's possible, but I didn't see it. But there were some really cool bands that were out there. There's quite a few that I don't know, but in terms of, and one of the things that Miku mentioned, like what's one of the charms of Summer Sonic is that these overseas foreign artists are able to be here in Japan, so they can see them, basically at home. But let's see. Youngblood, I know he's kind of, not everybody likes him. I did see his performance, with Ozzy's last show. I thought he did a great job. Official, Dandism. I forgot. Official Dun. Dang it! What can I say? I don't remember. Hige Dandism. I think so. Official Hige Dandism. I think so. Fall Out Boy. Let's see. The Prodigy was there. Block Party. I don't know if you guys know Block Party. Like back in the day, like early 2000s, they were pretty hot for a while. I really liked them. It was kind of David. And then a more recent performer who's kind of gotten, some praise and accolades is Biba Doobie. You guys know Biba Doobie? Yeah, much more mellow music, but still really good stuff. So a lot of other bands. But that was that. And let's see here. Yeah, so that's basically what happened with Summer Sonic. Again, the best thing that came out of that performance is that they do seem to have received a lot of praise and new fans. So that worked out really well for them. This coming week, this Saturday, the 23rd, is that correct? Let's see. This Saturday is going to be Band-Maid at Bangkok. So that should be fun. As I mentioned last week, it is their first time there to perform. Even though it's not going to be a one-man show, it's still their chance to sort of jump into the Thai market, the Thai night market. Yeah, Thailand is another country along with Japan, I think even the Philippines, where rock is very much a mainstay in terms of genre. Thailand definitely has their own like rock bands and it's very established. Whereas like for example in Korea, even though there are some rock bands there, it's still very, very much predominated or dominated by like pop bands. So let's see, 1 second here. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Yeah, so Band-Maid will be performing on the 23rd. Black Eyed Peas, it's headlining, 21 Savage, Creepy Nuts, Buzz Kikuo, Hit GS. Not sure what that is. And then a few other bands. 24th, you have Alicia Keys, Camila Cabello, 찬열, Baby Metal, The Rose, Jeff Satur, Be First, Kickflip, 람야의 하이통감. 람야의 하이통감. I'm not sure. Put pasa 타이다이 니 너에. So I'm not quite sure exactly what that means. But yeah, so that is what is happening this coming weekend. So that should be fun. I think Thailand will definitely love Band-Maid and Baby Metal, to be honest. So it should be a good time. Should be a good show. Another cool thing that actually happened this past weekend. So actually, no, no, no. Let's stay with Band-Maid. This one is pretty nice. There was an interview. I don't know if you guys know or have heard of J Rock News. Um, I'm not quite sure how big they are, to be honest. I can't quite assess that, but they definitely have been around for a good part of a decade. I'd say more than that. They actually have an anniversary show coming up here in Tokyo with bands like Dimrays, Gangire. Who are the other bands? Pretty big. Let's see here. Well, anyhow, yeah. So they did do an interview. They did do an interview with Miku when she was actually at the Anime Expo this past summer or back in July. And I don't want to read everything, but I do want to read just a couple of questions and answers and just kind of paraphrase. So they did ask about Rock is a Lady's Modesty. And with Rock is a Lady's Modesty, Miku, and I'm sure the other girls too, definitely found similarities to the story and did feel like, the anime was almost about them, basically in the way that they weren't taken seriously, that they would be judged by their appearance. But yeah, Miku says, just like Lilisa and the girls, we believe in our music and did not give up. And because of that, we're able to meet our masters and princesses, and we are here now. Well, um, let's see here. This was interesting. I'm a pretty big comic book geek, superhero geek. Um, so they asked Miku about the music video for Unleash and how it was very much like an anime style music video and a combination of Sailor Moon and Power Rangers. So if a studio were to produce an anime series about Band-Maid, what kind of story would you want to tell? And she says the other band members and I once talked about how it would definitely be interesting if we were part of a Marvel style American comic anthology, which is great. Like that'd be really awesome. Um, I think Bandmate and anime and the girls being animated in sort of a more, because the girls are larger than life. I think that's one of the things that can't be argued. Um, you can argue about who are the better musicians or who are the better bands, who has better music, whether it's Bandmate or Baby Metal or Love Bites or Nemophila, all of these bands, right? But I would say in terms of just sheer personality, I don't think anybody has ever quite beat Bandmate. Um, there's something singularly um, uncanny about the way that they are together and what they create, beyond just their music, but who they are and how that does enhance, I think, not only the performance, but the way that people receive them. It's not many bands have that kind of just drawing power. And, not, I don't think that many bands out there have like that kind of devotion from fans to save like all their photos. It is very much like a collection. And I think Bandmate is one of those bands that really kind of engages people in a way that other bands don't, even if their music is just as good. Um, so yeah, it's, as far back as I can remember, even when I joined sort of the Bandmate fan club, and the community, like there was always talk about that, and people always loved it when Bandmate was drawn in anime style, especially if there were superheroes or bigger than life, because I think it really does embody who they are in a big way. So, so they talked about what is justice. Um, let's see here. Here's one that I kind of want to address and talk about because this is something that has been brought up, and it's another divisive, I think, issue or topic in terms of Bandmate doing so many anime songs. And then the argument as to, oh, you wouldn't know they're anime songs unless somebody told you that they were from anime songs. But the fact that these songs are specifically written for animes, it does affect the outcome of the music itself, right? Because you're basing it off of what you've read, what you've seen, and what you're kind of trying to experience. And because these animes are much more exciting or try to incite that kind of energy, then of course the music will be changed by that. But here's the question. So it feels like the melodies and strong song structures in recent singles, Zen, Ready to Rock, and What is Justice, have taken a darker, more aggressive turn compared to earlier works. I do agree. Was this the result of writing for anime or the natural evolution of Band-Maid? Miku responds, I think it's the fact that these were written as tie-in songs and we wrote them to match the anime. Pull. On top of this, I feel that our guitarist Kanami's expressiveness grew and each of the other band members evolved in our own way, resulting in us all powering up. Pull. So she does say that there's, you know, two sides to it or two reasons for it. One, that it was written specifically for these animes. And I think Band-Maid is one of those bands that really does try to write songs that reflect what they're writing for. This goes all the way back to, Glory, Bubble, any other song that they wrote for other works. But definitely Konami's style and her preferences, because they've changed, it definitely does affect the sound as well. But to say that the songs that Band-Maid has written for animes are not anime songs, but just Band-Maid songs, I beg to differ. That's my personal preference, or that's my personal opinion. And you can disagree with that if you want to. That's totally fine. But as somebody who has written songs as well, you try to get into somebody's shoes and perspective, and you try to feel what is that feeling that you're trying to capture, and if you have animes about battles and fighting and whatnot, then yes, it affects it. So whether it's, shambles or protect you, all those things, right? So it affects it. So yeah, that was just a question answer that I wanted to read through. And, you guys can share your thoughts as well. So now this is something that's really cool to hear. This is regarding the EP coming up. When exactly, we don't know. But the question is, can you share a few details about your next EP or full-length album? What excites you about the next step in Band-Maid's musical career? So I'm very curious what this means. I mean, you can hear it, read it, but what it exactly means and what it'll translate into as far as the music, that's kind of like, what could it be? So Miku says the EP we are working on now carries the theme of classic Band-Maid, which for me personally, that excites me. I know people there's a spectrum of like, God, why can't they only play the music that they used to play? And those who are like all aboard the Band-Maid evolution train, and like if you're not on it, then you're stupid and you're not a Band-Maid fan anymore. And, but there's a spectrum within that. For me, though, I do love classic Band-Maid. That's just my preference musically. As much as I do appreciate what they've done, when I hear older songs, they connect with me just much more. But she says the EP does carry the theme of classic Band-Maid. Band-Maid bore a variety of songs throughout our 12-year career. And although everything was undoubtedly rock, we culminated an amalgam that represents all our experience. By releasing this EP, we hope that those who got to know us through anime, as well as those who have always known us throughout all the years, will enjoy our music even more. So I'm very curious what that means, right? What it'll translate into. So that's kind of exciting though. And then she says that they're looking forward to playing the new songs off their EP at Okuji's. When will it be? Let's see. I definitely, for sure, the final round, they're going to have at least one new song. For sure. I guarantee that. If there's two, great. Great. This one is kind of obvious and maybe a bit sad for people to hear. But here we go. So congratulations on your Japan-wide tour throughout 2025. But the fans miss Band-Maid all over in the States. Fact. When can we expect to see you perform again? And what would you like to try differently or challenge yourself with in your next overseas tour? Uh, so Miku says, as for overseas appearances, we'll be holding an Akuji at Summer Sonic Bangkok 2025, which I mentioned is this coming weekend, 23rd. We've been to Thailand before to film the Hollywood movie Kate, but this will be our first time putting on an Akuji there. It's not a solo show, but we're very much looking forward to the inaugural Okuji in Thailand. And then she says there aren't any confirmed dates for a US tour yet. But yes, but of course, we'd love to return and serve more Okuji there. So there are no confirmed dates for the US tour, which doesn't mean that there aren't dates. They're just not confirmed. So, and again, there's still the issue of Europe and other parts of the world. And every here and there, like I'll go to Band-Maid Fans Cafe, and I will definitely see people who say, I'm sort of dropping out, I'm losing interest because Band-Maid has not been touring. There aren't, fan cams going on and whatnot. So for some people, I think they have left. I think for some people, they have said, this is it. But for others, diehards, I mean, ride or die, right? All the way through. For me, since I'm in Japan, I don't have any stake in the States, except that I would love to see Band-Maid grow and further increase their fan base there. A band like Hanabiye, who has gotten a lot of attention this past year, and they have been performing like constantly at a lot of different festivals in a lot of different parts of the world. So they're definitely growing and gaining a lot of popularity. So what exactly Band-Maid's plan is for, because this year is basically done, right? You have the EP, you have the final part of their tour. It's already the end of August, so as far as any other shows, it doesn't seem like it. Maybe one or two will crop up, but yeah, so, pretty much eyes will now be set on 2026 and what that entails. But Miku does say this. She says, we're in the middle of our Japan tour right now, and our live performance has evolved even more since our last US tour. We're challenging ourselves with lots of new things, like playing a Band-Maid medley. We hope our overseas masters and princesses will get to see how much we've grown by our next world tour. This one's interesting. We haven't done an acoustic version during our international tours yet. So that's something we'd love to try someday too. That may be something that you just hit off the top of her head that's kind of, was discussed, since they've done really well. And I think people have been incredibly receptive, myself included, to their acoustic versions. So if there is like an acoustic section, I think that'd be pretty neat. For me personally, I think some people are like, no, I don't want acoustic. But I do think that'd be cool. So that is the article interview that was posted just today. So if you guys do want to check it out, just Google J-Rock News and then Band-Maid Miku. And then you'll get to read the article yourself, the interview yourself, and see how it is. So, yeah. And one last thing to mention about Band-Maid is that the tickets for the final round, so October, Osaka Namba Hatch, November, Kanagawa, Club Cheetah, and then in December, Tokyo Garden Theater. Those 3 shows, tickets are still available until the 24th. So you guys can go ahead if you have not yet. Just go to their website, and then you guys can get details for that. Now, the other cool thing that happened this past weekend is actually, and I mentioned even last week, like, I don't totally love this band. I like them. But what's really cool is that Nemophila performed this past Saturday in Korea for the first time. They were actually pretty far south from Seoul, which is like, the main city, at Jeonbuk National University, which is, again, pretty far south. It's closer to Busan than it is Seoul. But they'll also be going back again in October to perform a one-man in Seoul. So I don't know if this... Yeah, I think this possibly, possibly maybe a trend. Um, Rolling Quartz is actually coming over here, right, to Japan fairly soon. And so there is sort of like trickling of bands playing. Like next week or this coming weekend, for example, the power metal band Paradox, that's two X's, Paradox, will actually be playing both days, both weekends, not both weekends, Saturday and Sunday, in Seoul, different locations. So that's gonna be cool too. I threw it out to a couple of the members of Band-Aid, the Korean cover band. So I'm curious what next year may bring. Like this year as well, because going to the States and performing there, the cost was just astronomical and ridiculous and just, you know, yeah. I suggested to Hades, oh, what do you think about performing in Korea? How would that be? And just with a lot of different things coming up, they weren't able to. But I would love to go to Korea with Hades and maybe another band or two and perform at shows. That would be really cool. So, Korea is definitely open and available, but here's the interesting thing is this past Friday, was a national Korean holiday called Gwangbokjeol. And in English translated, it's National Liberation Day of Korea, which is basically the day when Korea was liberated by the Allies in 1945 after 35 years of colonial rule from Japan. Um, I don't know how many of you know the history of Korea and Japan. It's not a two-way thing. It's very much a one-way thing. Um, And I'll tell you now, it messed me up. It really messed me up when I was reading up on the history of things that happened and things that were done to Korea. So, but I love Japan living here. I think I get along much better with the people and the culture. And it's unfortunate what happened in the past, but I'm glad things like this. I'm glad there's crossover. I'm glad that there's connections being made, even though there is and always will be sort of nationalism on both sides, um, and a lot of things that shouldn't be said being said by some people. But I'm glad that music is a way to connect. I'm glad that music is powerful enough to actually build the bridges to really bring people closer to each other. So it was just interesting that, yeah, kind of the juxtaposition of the news and stuff. So, but I'm glad about that. So Nemophila performed this past weekend, and then Paradox will be performing this coming weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. So that should be really cool. Let's see. What else? Let me get a few things out of the way, and then I'll just mention a couple of shows. So I'm a bit more prepared, but I'm kind of just giving you more information because there's a lot of information all the time, and there always will be. So just a couple of things, a few things. Let's see. So Sally hit 37,000 on her YouTube channel. Sally, the guitarist, absolutely adore her as a person, as a guitarist, as a performer. Fantastic. If you have not yet, I definitely recommend that you subscribe to her channel. Hey, what's going on, Steen? That you follow her channel. Great stuff. So go ahead and check her out. And keep your eyes on her. So I do think that she still has bigger, better days ahead of her. Even though I think she is doing well since this past year with the release of her solo album and just performances. Another kind of some big names, at least to me. So birthdays very quickly. So on the 16th, it was Hazuki's birthday from Nemophila. On the 18th, today in Japan, Naho, bassist for Dim Rays, her birthday. And then even though I don't listen to Trident, it's actually Nagisa, the drummer's birthday today as well. So those are just a few birthdays to just throw out there. You guys can go ahead, reach out to them if you love any of them, whether it's Hazuki, Naho, or Nagisa, or all of them. I'm sure some of you do. reach out to them and just contact and wish them a happy birthday. That's, it's always nice. It's always nice to be acknowledged and appreciated. Um, yeah, for being born, for being alive, because that doesn't always happen. Hey, what's going on? So yeah, those are birthdays, and then now we can go into some shows. Let's see here. God, were a lot of shows. Where did the other one that I had go? Had I not found it yet? Okay. Oh, here we are. God, there's just too many. Okay, I don't want to go into all the details of all these shows. And that's the tough thing about doing this kind of video and mentioning shows. It's just too tough. So I'll just mention like that there were shows, performers that I keep an eye on, that you may want to look into if you have not yet. So this past Saturday, a band called Chased. If I remember correctly, I saw them perform once. They're an all-male band, which I think will automatically turn some of you off. That's fine. Whether you're into music in general or you're just only into like the girl scene, or just the boy scene, the guy scene. But Chase is an all-guy band, but I think they're a great band. They had some good music if I remember correctly. They have a new mini album out, Wheel and Woe. So they had a release tour. And so it was Chased, launcher number 8, Azami, Dimrays, and the car. I really hate it when bands, when I can't read the name of bands right away. If it takes me more than a second, then I kind of tune off. So sorry, I can't read this other name exactly what it's saying. So yeah, Chased, launch number 8, Azami, Dimrays, and another band. This was at Cyclone, but I'm sure it was a great show. As I mentioned, I've only seen launcher number 8 once, but it was violent. It was fun, but it was violent, and it's more violent than other bands I've seen perform. Like, I think there are certain bands where people feel that they have not the obligation, but that they have the freedom to just kind of go ahead and just start like socking people and kicking people in the head. Great band, fantastic energy, good songs, but I will say that if you are a bit older and a bit slower, that you just be careful when you're there. That's all I'll say. People lose shoes, lose their minds, all that good stuff. Let's see, who else was it? Little Lilith, Exist Trace, and the band I don't know, Ulma Sound Junction, did a 3-man. Let's see, 20th anniversary tour. Whoa, so Ulma Sound Junction has been around for 20 years, but I do not know who they are. Yeah, but if you guys know, and if you guys think they're good, go ahead and recommend them or check them out. That would have been a good show though, just from Little Lilith, Exist Trace. I haven't seen Exist Trace live yet. I've only talked to their drummer, Mally, who's super cool, super chill. Like, love her. Yeah, very, very cool girl. But I think she said she was like 18 when she started playing drums for Exist Trace. And Exist Trace has been around for, 20 years. So that's wild. It's wild. Let's see. Yeah, there was pretty big summer show called Hottie and Rhythm 2025. A lot of bands. I'm not going to name all of them. I'm just going to name some of the few that you guys probably know. Risky Melody was there. Sirius was there. Empress, Emanon. Used to be Shoujo S, now Hadichi. Akara. Let's see. Who else? Who else is here? Yeah, some other bands. There's a lot. But it was a big show. There's like at least, let's see, 6, 35, like 35, 36 bands. Um, yeah, I think I had wanted to see them, but it seemed like a lot of the shows that they performed at were weekdays, which I couldn't make. And just things happened. And then actually, yesterday on the 17th, there was another show that both Dim Rays and Launcher Number 8 performed at again, for a band that's sponsored called Dreamy. Another band called Good Grief was there. Another band, I can't read their name. But yeah, so in terms of the core scene, whatever, metalcore, hardcore, Osaka core, happy core, whatever core you want to call it, Launch Number 8 and Dim Rays are definitely the two bands that make their way over to Tokyo quite a bit. And between those two, I would say Dim Rays. Dim Rays, I honestly think Dim Rays should just move here to Tokyo, if I'm being honest. Considering the cost of like travel and lodging, even if it's cheap, I mean, they come here so much. It just makes a lot more sense because there are so many more shows here in Tokyo than there are in Osaka. Um, so I do think at some point, I do think at some point they'll make that move, they'll make that decision. Just financially, it just kind of registers and makes sense to me. But yeah, and guess what? They are coming back again this week as well. So it doesn't stop. Okay, let's go into some shows coming up this weekend. Or actually this week first. So, darn it, I think I missed a show that is actually going on tomorrow. I thought I had saved it, but I can't remember at the. Oh, okay, here we go. So tomorrow, Tuesday. Some of you guys know this band called Eyes Hagasu Eyeshadow. The singer is Yukina. She's getting some popularity over this past year. But Ash Frast will be there. The Frail, which is a band that I support quite a bit. Sugoi Bando me ni shita kata, which is a band that I've seen around the circuit, but I've not heard them play, as well as Atorieju. Not sure who that is either. But with Ash Frast, Aisaga's Eyeshadow, and The Frail, it's gonna be a really fun show. That's at Zirko Tokyo. So that should be fun. That's tomorrow. And then Wednesday, you have two really awesome shows. Kind of interesting. So on Wednesday, at Cyclone, again, a very popular, a place that I've been to quite a bit over the past couple of years. But you have Lady Baby, Dim Rays, Twilight, Lucid Dream, a Korean band. Again, it's cool to see that. Lucid Dream, and then a band called Straw Day, which I don't know. Hey, what's going on, Eric? So yeah, that's a really cool show right there. Yeah, Bright Air did come from Fukuoka. Asterism is another band that basically their base of operations is here as well. But yeah, so this Wednesday, Lady Baby, Dim Rays, Twilight, Lucid Dream, and Straw Day. I've only seen Dim Rays and Twilight live. Those two bands alone would make a show worth it. But it'd be cool to see a Korean band perform here in Japan. And then, Lady Baby, which I think a lot of people have heard of. Don't know Straw Day. So there's that. But happening the same day, which is probably the show that I would choose. And this one actually has streaming. So if you guys do want, you guys can check it out. However, two bands will not be streamed, their performances. But you have Broken by the Scream, Lumerize, Little Lilith, Exist Trace, Doll Parts, Amagoy, which used to be Jungfrau, and then Undying Words. And then if you guys recall, Kasumi, the original official vocalist, left. And so they've been bringing in different people from different bands. This coming Wednesday, they will have a guest vocalist. What was her name? Darn it, I can't remember. But she is the vocalist for a band called Diva, and then a band that I believe it's defunct now, but it was called Three Persons. Um, yeah, so this is a show that I would choose, even though like I love Dim Race to death, and I've supported them like since I've known them. Um, I think with Undying Words, Doll Parts, Exist Trace, Little, yeah, I mean, these are all bands that I definitely appreciate. And I think just as a whole, this package works much better for me. And it is, again, there is a live stream for this. The show does start at 4:30 p.m. in Japan. So you guys can go ahead and look into that. It's called Made in Heaven, Volume 29. If you guys look up any one of these bands that I mentioned, Broken by the Scream, Lumerize, Little Lilith, Exist Trace, Doll Parts, Amagoy, Undying Words, just Google them, Made in Heaven, live stream, and I'm sure you'll find something. Well, the AC has been on, but you know, it's still relatively warm. And this isn't going to last that long. After this week is done, next week is my last full week off, and then I'm back to work on September 1st, and so this will be gone. So enjoy it while it lasts. Hair today, gone tomorrow. All right. So yeah, that's Wednesday. Fantastic shows. I would say both of them. So, but as far as the live stream, I think yeah, only Made in Heaven. This is the anti-knock. You guys can go ahead and check that out. And then this weekend, so on the 16th, you have Band-Maid. You have Summer Sonic Bangkok. Band-Maid is performing on Saturday. But then you also have, let's see, She-Glapes, which is a band I got really close to in Osaka. They have their one man coming up. So their one man will be at Club Mercury, a place I've been to only once. But they're such a fun band, and they're just such lovely people. Like, yeah. I learned a word from them the last time I saw them at Lifehouse Crescendo, and the word in Japanese is nare nareshi. And nare nareshi is when you get close, a little bit too close and very, very quickly. You know, like over friendly has kind of negative connotations, kind of negative overtones, but it is kind of in that area of just a lot all at once, which I think Koreans can do very well, which doesn't always work for me. Yes, 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 yes. So yeah, so that's happening Saturday. Let's see. Also, this Sunday, you have Nekomeshi 222, which is another band I really got really close to. Another band off Blacklisted, and they are celebrating Raizo, the singer, her birthday. So this is at Ueno Otoyokocho. Bands performing Astral Tower, Blastman, Pico Beat, Lost in the Flames, Porno State, and then Nekomeshi 222. I've only seen Lost in the Flames perform aside from Nekomeshi 222, but it'll be a great show. Nekomeshi, like I've said this, they capture sort of this thrash core sound that's really just crunchy, and the riffs are so, I always use the word tasty, but that's the word that works the best for me. I appreciate them a lot. But they have this coming Sunday, as well as a new EP coming out with 4 songs. So it seems like that it's exclusive only at the venue. So, you know, when there's hundreds of bands, performers out there, then, you know, there's definitely be a lot of birthdays. And then also this Saturday, I'm kind of going back. show that I really, really wish I could be at is a Liner show. If you guys ever see Liner on Twitter X or somewhere else, um, it's most likely a show worth checking out. So for this band, or for this show, it'll be Monochrome Cinderella, My Little Devil, Hades, and of course I love Hades, Amai Dantodai, and then Dizzy Reverse. I have seen all of these bands live, and this is definitely like an awesome show to be at. I still have yet to catch Hades at a Shinjuku Anti-Knock show, which I really want to. Um, like different venues bring out different sides of bands. Um, yeah, that's all I can really say is that if you've seen bands at different venues, you know that like different places, like the way that the stage is set up, like how high or low it is, how close you can get to the fans, um, it makes a difference. So, yeah, this one I'm really sad about. Not as sad, which I completely forgot to mention, not as sad as me missing the Aldius show this past last Wednesday on the 13th. That one kind of broke my heart because Aldius was one of those bands that I found early on. Um, and I really, really loved Reno's voice. Really loved her vocals. Um, I would say my favorite song from them is probably Sweet Temptation. But just, so sumptuous. So, oof. But yeah, that one broke my heart. What can I do? I'll get over it. Life goes on. It is a show, but I'm sad I missed their final show. But there will be a publication made available called Aldius Memories of the Final Tour, and it'll be available on October 21st. So for those of you who are fans of Aldius, you guys can go ahead and keep your eyes out for that one. If you guys actually don't know Aldius, I recommend you check them out. Aldious. SJ was also a massive fan. There's actually footage of him losing his mind. This big bald-headed dude just going nuts. What was it? It was like a convention or something in the States a few years back. So I found that really funny. But you can go ahead and ask him about it. But yeah, Reno is Toki. Toki reminds me a bit of one of the first Japanese girls that I met and kind of hung out with when I first got here. So yeah. Except she didn't play like awesome guitar like she did. But still. That would have been great. Okay, there's definitely lots of other shows. Those are the ones that I want to mention. Also, this coming weekend, for those of you who know John Reeves will actually be here in Tokyo for just a couple of days. Let's see, he just messaged me. So let's see. What days? Friday to Monday, pretty short, Friday to Monday. But he is going to this pretty massive festival here in Shimokitazawa. So it seems like I'll actually be able to meet up with him just to chat. I don't know what else. Is it this weekend? I know he's coming. I did see that. I don't know if it's this weekend though. Possibly. Let's see. So the Rush Up Festival in Shimokitazawa, there aren't a lot of bands that or wait, actually maybe I do. Okay, so this Sunday as well, let's see. 80-second Life Sentence, Buzzer 01, and Chokohachi, Vera de Serum, and Call, maybe Srenu, Market Shop Store, Tokyo Mist, Twinkle Wink. Let's see here. Sirius will be there, Full Moon. So the Zillion Mode girls, Empress, Sirius, Full Moon, Honeybee, which is a band that Asumi from Risky Melody also plays for. So they'll be there. Um, X-Teen will be there, or is it Christine? I forget. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, so there'll definitely be some fun bands to check out there as well. So let's see, Pipia, X-Teen Christine, Candy Monster, Reincarnation, Full Moon Empress Sirius, Raiden, featuring Risky Melody, Honeybee, and Risto Neko. So yeah, tons of bands. But I probably will be meeting up with John somewhere before in between, maybe a Saturday. Depends on what shows he'll be catching this weekend. As long as he knows what's up. So yeah. If you guys have any questions in terms of yeah, just questions, or maybe anything that maybe you want me and John to talk about, I can kind of bring it up to him. We can talk about that. Maybe we'll do another video just discussing stuff. Sorry, I'm a bit out of it. My sleeping schedule has been just ridiculously just like on and off. So, but I did have a monster. I've slowly been getting back into eating unhealthy food. Slowly. I'm still eating mostly healthy. But yeah. Let's see. November 7th, that's when Alan's gonna be here. Unreal. I'm not sure what the Unreal was for. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Let's see. Yeah, I've only ever seen Band-Maid as far as Japanese bands go. You know, I was supposed to, because Baby Metal was one of the earlier bands I discovered when I was still living in Korea. That's 2017. And I was supposed to go back to the States. I introduced my friend to Baby Metal. This is when I believe it was Road to Resistance came out. I was completely in love with Karate. Loved the song. But my friend tried getting shows to the Wiltern, which is where they performed, but they were sold out by the time he checked. So that was unfortunate. I don't know how it would have been if I ended up becoming a fan of Baby Metal first, like actually going to a live performance, how that would have affected sort of the trajectory. Because that definitely would have gotten me into Japanese bands a lot sooner, or at least some of the ones that are sort of more well known now. So that would have been interesting. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, Rolling Quartz is performing here soon enough. Still debating whether I should go. Yeah, I want to see all of Undying Words shows because they have different vocalists all the time. And I'll be honest, I don't know all the details of Kasumi leaving Undying Words, but I really did love her vocals. I found them very unique, and it worked so well with just Undying Words in their music. So she was a bit shy, a bit on the shyer side, more introverted. But yeah, I'm curious to see whose vocals can work better. It's like when, you know, Miyabi left Azazel, and then they were shopping around with different vocalists until finally they landed on Sara, and then you end up getting Hades, which turned out to be a fantastic band. So, oh, what's going on, Peter? Yes, nekomeshi does mean cat food. The founder of the band, Zakuro, is a massive cat lover. The Samchon or Oji-san look can still work in your favor. Just, no, David. No, it doesn't work for. Yeah, it works when I'm with you guys. It works when I'm with Americans. It works a little bit with maybe like, older Japanese men, but other than that, and I'll be honest, I love you guys, but I have to choose between being favored by the girls or the guys. I prefer to be favored by the girls. So it doesn't work. Um, yeah, Alan's basically got Hiro Tajima from Direct Tours in his pocket. So basically, Hiro goes shopping around for different bands um, to be interviewing him. I just hope he has a good translator. It helps a lot. Lots of napping, yes, lots of napping, absolutely. Uh, yes, Sawa is in a new band. It may not be your only one, who knows? The music seemed all right. Oh, November 7th. Yeah, it is later. Derek is trying. Of course he is. uh, let's see. Yeah, it is weird. I'll be honest. Still just kind of like stuck at home, and the so when I talked to the doctor, he said the recommended amount of time that I should kind of rest up my foot is a month. Um, I could have started doing things even like right away, right after, if I had to. Um, but after a whole year and a half of my foot and all the shit I had to deal with because of it, I want it to be as healed as it possibly can be, like as is humanly possible at this point and at this stage of my life. Um, so yeah, I am being extra cautious, extra careful. Um, but the problem with having to lie down to keep my foot elevated is that I end up just getting sleepy and drowsy. So even though I'll be watching something or reading something, I just get drowsy lying down. So I just sleep on and off all the time, which I hate. Um, but I did tell myself that this week I will become a lot more active. I will try to be much more on top of things and get things done and sort of get back into doing some like scheduled work, whatever that may be. So, but yeah, again, I do have to stay away from shows. I'm really trying my best to be careful of that. But yeah, so it looks like this weekend I will be meeting up, going out for the first time in a long time to meet with John Rees, and we'll see what comes of that, what we'll talk about exactly. Alan, I don't know when he'll be here exactly. So if you guys have any details, you guys can go ahead and let me know. I guess I could reach out to him too, but yeah. So let's see, let's see. Okay, yeah, I think that's about it for this coming um, weekend. I don't want to sort of overindulge ourselves with everything that's coming up. There's just always too many. Um, yeah, exactly. Right, Eric? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, my next trip back to the hospital will be the end of September. So yeah, it is sad, but life does go on. And you know, next year will definitely bring bigger and better things. It always does. I think even this year compared to last year, there's some really big stuff happening, like amongst bands, like within bands. Yeah. Let's see now. Band-Maid is featured in the latest Burn magazine. That's Burrn exclamation. You guys can check that out. But you may want to go ahead and look into purchasing that magazine if you want to. Um, yeah, that's the Burn magazine. Yeah, just to see how my foot is doing. Um, I think the recommended healing time before actually walking without the platform is 3 months. But if I take care of my foot as well as possible, who knows, maybe it'll be reduced to just 2 months. Um, so yeah, again, the only time that I've recently been kind of checking out is taking a quick little bike ride. Ah, yeah. Band-Maid was great. um, yeah, let's see. No, I think that's about it, guys. I just don't know if there's really anything else. But anything that you guys want to talk about real quickly before I wrap this up or mention? Um, any new recommendations? I've been watching a lot of Dexter. Um, why did I start that? I don't know. But yeah, strangely, I haven't been listening to too much music. Seeing a lot of serial killings, um, which I kind of like, you know, because people deserve it sometimes, right? Ah, yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Well, it seems like there isn't really much here. So then I guess I will wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for having joined me this time around. Um, yeah. Oh, so the Frail, their new guitarist, Arisa, she's, I think she's only like in her like mid to younger 20s, it seems. Um, but she put up a couple of recent Band-Maid covers on guitar. One for Choose Me, and then one for What is Justice. So it's been getting a lot of likes. But she also posted on her Instagram that she did apply for a ticket for Tokyo Garden Theater. So if she does end up going, and I will be there as well, I do still need a ticket. So if anybody out there does have an extra ticket, please let me know. Um, and I'll ask around. I'm sure I'll find one. Or I guess I could just if somebody has an extra ticket. If not, I can apply for a ticket before this week is through. Um, but yeah, if you do, message me wherever on Twitter or Facebook, depending upon where we know each other and interact. Um, but yeah, she most likely will be there. So if she is there, and then if you are there, and if you want to meet her, that'd be really cool. So the last time, um, oh yeah, that was the other show. Um, what did I just want to say? That's right, the Gungide show with Manatee and then a couple of others. Dang it, I missed that one. But yeah, so Tokyo Garden Theater, I do think that Arisa will be there. You guys can go ahead and check out The Frail, whether it's their music video, not music videos, they have a live performance on YouTube. Um, Alan, are you talking to me? If I need something in September, anything Mexican food related, and I've been kind of craving A1 sauce these days. So yeah, feel free to anybody out there who's watching this, I'll just throw it out there right now. If you ever come to Japan and you want to uh, show some form of gratitude for anything that I've done, you can go ahead and send me. Or you can bring some A1 sauce, or you can bring some Mexican food stuff. It could be beans, it could be salsa, I mean, jalapenos, tortillas, corn tortillas, preferably. Do I like frozen burritos? I do like frozen burritos. Can you bring those here? Can you bring frozen burritos? I can't do cheese, and I can't do pork. But yeah, um, what was it? Russ Henry from the Foxhole actually brought me this big old A1 sauce, and it's strange because I went through a phase of, not doing sauces and just going at steaks just with some salt and pepper. But then recently, I've just kind of been craving it for some reason. Yeah. So yeah, anybody out there, if you're watching. Um, oh, one last quick news. There is a band called, yes, he did buy several sauces. I finished up the A1 sauce, and I'm trying to like hold off on finishing off all the other ones. So I'm taking it slowly. But Blacklisted Records, Yushi-san, who's just a fantastic guy, he signed another band called The Oath of the Wolves. So if you guys are interested in checking out a new band, you can check them out. The Oath of the Wolves. Let's see here. There's some music real quickly. Let me see. Yeah, so it's a bit more. Yeah. So I haven't checked them out yet. I have seen them around, their name around the circuit. So you guys can go ahead and check them out as well. Some more narrow. You know what I liked? Was that the one? Was that the black licorice with the chocolate around it? I liked that. I'm one of the very few people I know that likes black licorice. Um, yeah. Okay, guys. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll wrap it up here. Thank you guys for joining me this session, and I will see you guys again next week. Probably Sunday. And then the following weekend, the 31st, which is the day right before work starts. I may not do a live stream depending upon me just trying to get rest. So we'll see how that goes. I will keep you guys updated. And yeah, if you guys do have any questions, want to reach out to me, you guys can find me on Twitter X at PS1Lim. I think that's where I'm busiest. And then every here and there, I will sort of drop a line on Band-Maid Fans Cafe these days. Instagram, I should be posting more photos. There's tons of photos that I have, but yeah. Black licorice is good. But to each their own. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead. You guys can go ahead and check out the interview with J-Rock News with Miku. So you guys can read for yourselves just what she said. Okay, guys, I'm gonna take off. I don't think I'm gonna sleep soon, but I'm gonna try to wind down and see what other work I can get done before my body sort of gives out for today. So thank you guys so much. Please look into bands for yourselves. I'll throw out different names, but it never hurts to go ahead and like look them up on YouTube. All it takes is just that one little search, and then you never know what cool thing you'll find. Yes, Alan, always a joy to have you. All of you guys, thank you so much. Oh yeah, I did notice that Saki is actually putting on a show on the 6th, on the 6th of September. But I probably can't go to that. It's at Shibuya Rex, which is a great venue. So, oh well. Maybe if you can make it out and just come here for that show, Alan. September 6th. Make it. That was for you. Just for you. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I will see you guys again. Go ahead and check out all the good stuff that's out there. And I'll catch you again soon, okay? Yes, Saki, formerly of Nemophila, Mary's Blood. She's doing her own solo stuff. You guys can go ahead and, yeah, the internet is available. So thank you guys so much. I will see you guys again. Take care. Watch out of any accidents and be safe. All right. Bye, guys.